Welcome back, I'm Jonathan. As you might have heard, Rivian is going public and it's going to be big. That's right, Rivian has confidentially filed for an IPO and reports are saying the company is targeting a valuation between $70 and $80 billion. Wow. With such a high valuation, Rivian would have a higher market cap than Ford, one of the early backers of Rivian. It would also be one of the world's largest automakers, even though they have no revenue. This would make Rivian one of the largest IPOs based on valuation of all time, and not even quite close to Saudi Aramco from a little while back. Dan Ives of Wedbush announced the beginning of an electric vehicle arms race, saying it has already kicked off. Even though there is a chip shortage and Rivian is pre-revenue, Rivian should scare Tesla. The market really wants to make a big deal about the potential competition for Tesla. And with Amazon and Ford backing and working with Rivian, the market has founded Starlink. The Rivian IPO is still confidential, meaning we don't know anything about it officially. However, there is already significant speculation. We don't know when it'll take place, we don't know when the IPO will become official, when Rivian will be listed, but we do expect Rivian to target a valuation between $70 and $80 billion. This is significantly higher than the valuation that took place during the previous funding round, which was just this last summer, not too long ago at all. The most often given reason for this significantly higher valuation is that Rivian has started investing in and is ready to start production at a second plant. It will give them significantly more capacity to deliver vehicles to all their customers. If it all pans out as planned, this will have been a great investment by Rivian. Looking at how Rivian has been funded to date, Rivian has received over $10 billion in funding throughout the various rounds, the last of which took place during the summer and brought another $2 billion cash into the company for further production facilities. All in all, the information I've been able to find state Rivian has gone through 10 funding rounds in the last decade to get to this $10 billion cash number. Major investors include the aforementioned Ford, as well as T. Rowe Price, and D1 Capital. Comparing the Rivian valuation to others, let's look at a couple examples. The first and most recent comparison in pure-play electric vehicle manufacturers is Lucid Motors. Lucid is also a pre-revenue electric vehicle manufacturer, having gone public through a SPAC reverse merger, currently with a valuation of around $30 billion. The second comparison I want to make is to Tesla. Rivian is the media's favorite competition for Tesla, and they are in a race to deliver their first electric pickups and beat the other to market. Tesla has a market capitalization of over $700 billion, having had revenue of over $30 billion last year. Musk, as usual, had something to say about the Rivian IPO. He always has something to say. Musk thinks it wouldn't be too much to ask to deliver vehicles before IPOing, saying, don't want to be unreasonable, but maybe they should, be required to deliver at least one vehicle per $1 billion of valuation before the IPO. Tesla IPO'd on the NASDAQ in June 2010, having already started production on their Roadster. Maybe he's just disappointed that he waited too long to go public. The Tesla valuation at the time of the IPO was around $2 billion. That is more in line with the third example that I want to talk about now. My third comparable is Lordstown Motors. As with Lucid, Lordstown also went public through a SPAC, but at a much lower valuation. Lordstown is currently valued at around $1 billion, having gone public at around $2 billion. Lordstown is comparable because it also focuses on the pickup truck segment and is pre-revenue. However, there's a big difference between the two companies. To take a deeper look, check out my full video on the topic in the link above. Now for the meat of this video, let's examine how Rivian could be a discount, a value investment at $80 billion. Let's play it out and see what it could look like. One method to evaluate the valuation is to use multiples and search for comparable companies. The multiple I want to use is the enterprise value multiple, specifically the enterprise value to sales multiple. The enterprise value to sales multiple is simply the market capitalization or the enterprise value divided by the sales. Let's take a quick look at a couple examples to see what they look like. Let's assume that in order to appropriately value Rivian, we need to compare it to its best comparable. In this case, I'm going to assume it's its main competitor Tesla because they are a post-revenue electric vehicle manufacturer. Tesla is the first comparable because it is a pure electric vehicle automaker with revenue. The multiple for Tesla is 22.22. Extending to some other examples to get a feel for the situation. Toyota has a multiple of around 1. Volkswagen has a ratio around 0.5. Volkswagen and Toyota are both examples of incumbents with internal combustion engines as well as a little bit of hybrid and electric vehicle capacity. Looking at a mega cap for comparison, Apple has a multiple of 9. Let's assume that in order to appropriately value Rivian, it should have the same multiple as its main competitor, Tesla. This would mean Rivian should have 3.6 billion in sales. The market cap and the multiple are givens in this equation. Using the sales price of the most expensive vehicle on Rivian's website, that's this R1S, this would mean that around 48,000 units need to be sold at a price around 75,500 to reach the 3.6 billion in revenue required in order to allow this 22.22 multiple. We can play with the numbers as much as we like. We can cut the expectations in half because Rivian is extremely growth focused and younger than Tesla. However, in the end, each individual investor must decide, do I want Rivian at this price? Do I not want Rivian at this price? Every investor must decide for themselves. Since Amazon has already placed an order, the revenue multiple may very well be valid. Even delivering half of the order would bring almost all of the required revenue. I have a question and an ask from you. Where do you expect the stock price to be 30 days after the IPO? Do you expect it to go up? Do you expect it to go down? Oh, and by the way, if you're enjoying this video, please give this video a like. Thank you. The other side of the argument is this. The assumptions used to reach the aforementioned enterprise value are not accurate, or the results are less impressive, meaning less shipments and less revenue, the multiples will skyrocket and make the company look overvalued. Unfortunately for investors, this may be the disappointing outcome that should be expected. Expectations are that Amazon will receive around 10,000 vehicles before the end of 2022, and some pickups and SUVs will also be delivered. However, it seems unlikely that almost 50,000 units will be delivered before the end of 2022. Putting it all together, Rivian is planning a massive IPO and not everyone is sure they're worth it. Compared to other examples, Rivian will be one of the most expensive IPOs ever, and the competition is stiff. Comparable companies from Lucid to Tesla to Lordstown have all had significantly lower IPO valuations, and yet some of the largest investment bankers are backing this IPO. If Rivian is to validate their lofty expectation, they will need to execute on their production targets, and they will need to outperform the market expectations. Just simple, right? My take is that the market, or at least the investment bankers, are buying or selling hopes and dreams, depending on your perspective, and that these dreams will take some time to come true. If it really IPOs at 80 billion, I expect that the share price will be lower after 30 days than at the time of IPO. However, I don't think it'll stay down forever. I expect the price behavior to be somewhat similar to Facebook or Uber, meaning they sold off after their IPO and then rebounded later on. I think that's all I've got. Rivian is gonna have a big IPO. Jonathan out.